Welcome back to Be Empowered. On today's video, we are going to be winterizing the boat motor on this 2015 Ranger bass boat. It's a 225 horsepower Mercury and it goes fast. But before we do that, I got to get a last cast in. Let's hope I get something. Jimmy, I'm getting a bite. I think I got something. Get the net. All right, I caught one. Woo! All right, that's gonna do it for the winter. Now, let's get to work on winterizing this motor. Here are the products we're gonna be using in today's video. But before we get into those, I'd like to thank you for joining us. And if you're new here, if you like the content in today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to like and share as well. These are the tools and products we're going to be using in today's video. You have field treatment, a gear lube pump, the gear lube, fogging oil, and flathead screwdriver, a huge socket. It's actually a 1 1/16, and a 16 millimeter socket for spark plugs, which we'll get into later. Let's get at it. First thing we're going to do is stabilize the fuel. Now this particular brand is Lucas Oil, and it has ethanol fuel conditioner and stabilizers. We use this every time we fill up with gas. So I'm not gonna add any to this right now. But if you did not do that throughout the year, you definitely wanna do it for the winter time, so that way the ethanol doesn't sit and eat away at your hoses and fuel lines in the engine. If you did not put this in your gas tank throughout the year, you would want to add some to your gas tank and then run your engine for just a couple minutes so that way it can circulate through the system. Okay, to get the prop off, you don't want to put it in drive and ruin your gears. So what you'll do is you'll take a piece of wood, wrap something soft around it. I had some foam padding here, so I wrapped it around it. You put the piece of wood in between the cavitation plate and the prop. So it can't move. You'll use your breaker bar and the 1 1/16 socket. You just kind of push down. It's about to 55 foot-pounds of torque, and it should just spin right off. And you do counterclockwise. Make sure you keep your washer and everything. You have 3 washers here. Make sure you look for fishing line and other things like that. Any debris in there. This one's clean, so we're good to go there. So now we're just going to pop the prop off, and we'll start the process of draining the fluid. Okay, on the bottom, you're going to have a bolt, which is a 10 millimeter or a flathead screwdriver. We recommend the 10 millimeter. That way it's easier and less problems. You're not going to scar it up as much or take the risk of damaging the bolt. So what we'll do is we want to make sure that we have something ready to drain the oil. It won't really come out until we release the pressure on this, that right here. There's a drain plug that's like a breather. Well, it'll allow it to drain out. So we want to get something to catch it. Make sure that you dispose of your oil properly. I know like AutoZone, Advanced Auto, they take oil and recycle it for free. Make sure you don't harm the environment. Right. It should have a little a washer on it to keep the oil from coming out or getting any water in. So I would make sure you keep that in good shape. Otherwise, you're going to have to get one to replace it, and I don't think they're going to be that easy to find. You'll have to go to a boat store to get it. So I'm just going to keep it. All right, you can already see it coming out a little bit, but once I release the breather, it's going to come pouring out. It's actually green.
Is it green?
It's green.
Green gold, Texas tea.
There's only about a quart or less than a quart of oil, or gear lube, in the lower unit. So we have a quart, but we probably won't use it all. We're gonna let this drain out, and once it's done, we'll start the next step, which is pumping the new stuff in. All right, now that we have it drained, we are going to pump the gear lube up through the bottom drain plug until it comes out the breather plug at the top. Once it comes out the breather plug at the top, we're going to put the plug back in and then keep pumping it until it comes out the bottom. That way we know there's no air in it and it should be good to go. So let's get to pumping and get at it.
There she blows.
Oh yeah.
All right, put that nipple in there.
All right, now we're gonna pop this out, the pump out, and start putting the bolt back in. We don't want to lose too much gear lube, so we're gonna do it pretty fast. Oh my gosh.
Oh, hurry, hurry.
Wow. That was quick. All right, we went ahead and put everything back together the way it came off. No need to bore you with those things since you saw exactly how it came off before. Now we're gonna get to the top of the motor and start winterizing that portion of it. Next up on the list of things to do is you need to lubricate your cylinders so that way they don't corrode or rust. So what we're going to use is this fogging oil. So let's get at it. Okay, final step to the motor piece. I'm going to spray this fogging oil in each individual spark plug hole. And then once you're done doing that, we'll rotate the prop a few times to lubricate the cylinder walls because it pushes the piston up and down. So once we get done with that, we'll put the spark plugs back in, put the spark plug wires back on, and then we'll be done and put the cowling back on. So let's get to it. Oh, there we go. All right, we fogged each individual cylinder. So let's go ahead and rotate the prop. You'll be able to hear the pistons moving up and down in the cylinder. Just a couple turns will do it. Now the cylinder wall should be lubricated and it shouldn't corrode or rust during the winter. We have the spark plugs back in. We have the boots back on. Now we're going to put the cowling back on, and then we have one more step and we'll be done winterizing this boat motor and boat. Last step, cleanup. Make sure, as we mentioned before, you just take your oil to a local automotive store and they most likely will take it and recycle for you. I know Advance and AutoZone do it, but I can't say for any other stores in your area. So just remember that. We want to protect the environment. So with that said, we're going to clean up and then we'll be done. I hope you enjoyed the content in today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. I don't really know what else to say. That's it. Stay tuned for more awesome content coming along the way. This bad boy right here is going to be getting some love. We're going to be doing some other stuff to my truck, and we got some other shop mods coming up that we just can't wait to show you, along with some crazy stuff that we haven't done before on this channel. So stay tuned, and that's it. God bless you and God bless America. Be empowered out. Woo! Woo!